Speaking of traditional marriage, last week there was a statement released by conservative evangelical leaders. In other words, old white straight men who can't stop thinking about two men having sex. In a new doctrinal statement, they laid out their beliefs on human sexuality, including their opposition to same-sex marriage and fluid gender identity. It's called the Nashville Statement, and the National Coalition said it's their response to post-Christian Western culture. In other words, they can't handle the idea that the world is evolving. One of the things I find amusing about the Nashville Statement is the idea that marriage between one man and one woman is supposed to signify the marriage between Jesus and his bride, the church. Jesus' bride sure is a little boxy. She's had more people inside her than Jezebel, and she's always a little cross. Sorry, not sorry. I'm not a very religious person. I'm a Sunday school dropout. I'm Jew-ish. We celebrated the High Holy Days, and by High Holy Days, I mean my sister smoked pot at Hanukkah. By Hanukkah, I mean she was stoned for 8 days and 8 nights. Since I'm definitely not an expert when it comes to religion within the LGBTQ community, we're gonna talk to someone who is. My guest this week, mother, author, and affirming Christian, Susan Cottrell. Thank you so much for coming back and joining us this week. My guest is the prominent voice for faith parents of the LGBTQI community. She's been seen on ABC's 2020, Nightline, and Good Morning America. She's an acclaimed author and a huge ally for the LGBTQI community. My friend, Susan Cottrell. Susan, thank you so much for joining us this week.
My pleasure.
You've got 2 out of 5 kids in the family that identify within our community.
Yes.
2 daughters?
Yes, they both identify as queer.
So I get that. My older brother's gay, older
great.
sister's straight. My brother and I talk a lot about it. As long as she acts gay in public, we don't have a problem with it. As we've been talking about, there's a statement that's been going around nationally from Nashville. It's called the Nashville Statement. That's kind of been rocking the religious world.
There's a lot of reading into the Bible when you do things like this.
Right.
You're not taking out what's there, you're reading into it. And the church today, the non-affirming church, is really a machine of straight white males.
Right.
And they like the power and privilege they've had for many decades, centuries here. They don't want to give it up. And so this is a way to double down. It's not about anybody outside of their straight white audience that they appeal to, male-dominated.
And unfortunately, that message comes across to our youth and our children that they are also dispensable, that there's something wrong with them. There are hundreds of thousands of people that are children of faith.
Yes.
We just don't believe the same bigoted God that these people seem to when they write these sorts of things.
And when you're in that community, you think that that is faith. You think that is Christianity.
Right.
There are a lot of people of faith I had no idea that believe very differently. I didn't know that for a long time.
Which is wonderful. Thousands of them, signed something in opposition, united against this horrible hate. And you and your husband, Robert, were 2 of them.
Right.
Why is that so important to you?
Well, I think it speaks to the LGBTQ community specifically, and especially the youth that haven't got their legs under them on their worth and their value, and they've been fighting this, understanding this thing that they didn't choose to be gay.
Right.
Or trans or whatever they are. They didn't choose it, it just happened. And then we've got adult authority figures telling them they're not okay.
Right.
There's nothing less Christian than that.
That was really well said, actually. I think people are forgetting what the religious faith and especially Christianity is about. Have you ever in a day in your life, as a straight woman, a straight Christian affirming woman, felt that my ability to get married or my right to get married has in any way threatened you at all?
No. As long as you're not marrying me,
it
has nothing to do with me.
Or Robert, as long as I don't want to marry Robert.
Then that would be straight, right? If gay marriage is a threat to your straight marriage, one of you is gay.
One of you is gay in the relationship.
Right, and I've heard people say, well, you know, if everybody could just do what they want, we'd have a lot more gay people. I have to fight that urge. I'm like, you're gay then.
Yes.
If you're having to fight that urge, you're gay. My husband doesn't fight the urge to have sex with men. He just doesn't.
He just doesn't because he doesn't want to, because he's not gay.
Right.
I've met him. Robert, you're not gay. I know this is a big thing of the religious community, is that they fear if they support their children, they'll get ostracized by their friends and ostracized by the church.
Yes.
Did that happen when you came out in support? How did you deal with that?
We left.
You left the church?
We just left.
Okay.
Yes.
That's a good way to do it.
Now, we found another church
screw that, I'm out.
Totally affirming, but yes, we left the church. And actually, I like to say it that we didn't leave the church left us.
Okay.
And the foundational teachings of the gospel, and they're doing this whole white male patriarchal thing.
Right. These are people that think Jesus is coming back.
Yes.
They're Christian people, and I always joke and I say they better hope he doesn't come back during this administration because he'll never get through immigration. To hear you be so affirming about your children is wonderful. I have a very supportive mother. Like,
Yes.
I always joke about that.
That's great.
Me being gay isn't a problem. Like, me being a comedian probably was more threatening as a Jewish mother. So if I was a child that didn't have that affirming parent,
Yes.
I'm sitting in front of you.
Yes.
As a mother, and you had to speak to me,
Yeah.
what would you tell me?
I'd say that you are worthy. You're a worthy human being. You're one of God's children. You're beloved. You're created in God's image. And you deserve to be here. And don't let anybody tell you different. And your parents don't know better. Everything they're saying to you that is destructive is based on their own fear and their own ignorance. But that doesn't have to affect you. And there are people out there who will love you and be your community.
If there is a parent watching this, what do you say to them when they're like, I did something wrong?
All of us parents feel like we did something wrong all the time. They can't tie their shoes yet.
Right.
We did something wrong.
Right.
So that's just part of your fear as a parent.
Right.
But you didn't do anything to cause this.
Right.
The statistics don't bear that out in the least. Yeah. I have a book I wrote called Mom, I'm Gay, Loving Your LGBTQ Child and Strengthening Your Faith that helps you understand you didn't cause it, you didn't do it, they're not doing this to rebel against you, they're not getting back at you, it's just who they are.
Right.
And if you can take that burden off of yourself and love them, you'll be in good shape.
I wish every parent could hear this and listens to it. I think it's so important. If you want to get it for your parents, it's a great book for them to read.
And go to my website and contact me. You can email me.
What is your website?
I'll email you back. It's freedhearts.org.
If you would like to get a hold of either of Susan's books, we've got True Colors, that is an incredible book just talking about
a healing workbook for the LGBTQ community, healing from church wounds, family wounds, internalized homophobia. Yeah.
Susan, thank you so much for coming,
Thank
especially
you.
all the way from Texas to be with you.
Yes.
It is a pleasure to have you each and every week. I hope that something you heard today has touched your heart. You can take it with you into the coming weeks. We are going through a lot in this country, and we need to stay together and continue to spread love and affirmation. Thank you for watching every week. We have another phenomenal guest coming up next week. I'm Dana Goldberg, and you've been watching Out in Left Field.
All that time they had that. They could have just, with the board, they could have just done it like that.
They wasted a lot of wood. In the gay community, we don't like to waste a lot of wood. It makes a great stuffing stalker? No,
Yes.
stocking stuffer. Son of a gun! I'm gonna fix my Jufro. Came to the country as undocumented workers. All these little tiny babies. They already had jobs. You might not know that. I'm giving you information. It seems the month of August has been very busy. Bleh. So Mr. Roger, I can't even do it without laughing. A doctrinal. I make house calls at night. I'm a doctrinal. There was a spit bubble on my lip. I felt it. Why didn't you say anything? Is that the definition of marriage between a man and a woman? That can't be right. Boom! Was that okay?